All right. Hey, 3.6. Polynomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Do you not want me to talk it? All right, I'm done. Don't slap yourself, kids. It's not good. Slap yourself too many times, you end up teaching math as a profession instead of doing something real. No, I'm just kidding. Math puts food on my table. I love it. Wow. I am distracted. Okay.
That's where all the food goes.
Yeah, my kids, I always tell my kids, nobody badmouths math in my house because math puts food on this table. Isn't that right? Yes.
Yep.
Everybody else can badmouth math, apparently. Okay, but not in my house. All right. So 3.6. Now we're talking about polynomials in the form of this, ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, the thing is, the polynomials we studied in 3.5 were kind of the same, but a was equal to 1 always. Remember that?
Yes.
There was always a 1 in front. Look at these ones. They're all 1s here. You see that?
Yes.
So today, we're going to talk about polynomials that have something other than a 1 there. Like a 2, or a 4, or a -5, heaven forbid. So let us first go back and explore the expansion of certain types of binomials. Okay, that's where we started last day. This is where we're going to start today. So if we expand this, we're going to do that FOIL method, if that helps. I'm not sure if it helps anyone. But the first terms multiplied. So what's 3d times 4d? 12d squared. Very good. What is 3d times positive 2? That's plus 6d. Okay, that? 6d, not 60. What is now the inside terms? 4 times 4d, that's plus 16d, right? And then 4 times 2 is plus 8. Okay, everyone okay with that FOIL method there? First, outsides, insides, lasts. Okay, gather like terms. I end up with 12d squared plus 22d plus 8. Now this is a polynomial in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is positive 12, b is positive 22, and c is positive 8. And so factoring these guys are going to be just a slight bit different than factoring if a was 1. Why? Because look at where 12d squared came from. Okay? This is not just d and d. Remember? That's how we kind of did the last ones. We just added d and d, the d squared. Nope, this is not d squared anymore. I have to figure out what numbers go in front here. And that will affect the FOIL parts too. So there's a little bit more complexity. It's not as easy as looking at the last number and saying what are the factors there that add up to this. That's not as easy as that anymore because we have to consider that there are some numbers in front of the variable here too now, okay? So, not the end of the world, but if the mental math from yesterday was pretty, if you got a handle on it, then a little bit more mental math today will help you, but I will also introduce to you something called the decomposition method, which will help you factor for those of you that maybe don't want to do so much mental math, okay? So let's do this one more time. So the variable terms are kind of messed up a little bit. This is a little bit tricky, but let's expand this one and simplify. So this is going to be negative 14g when I multiply the firsts. Outside is going to be positive 6g squared. Everyone see that? Because I've got a negative and a negative, 2 times 3, g times g. Now the insides, this is going to be 8 times 7 is plus 56. And the last one, 8 times negative 3 is negative 24g. Now, sorry, go ahead. Does that look good?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to gather some like terms in a second. But listen, if you don't know your times tables, like your multiplication tables very well, I would encourage you, I know it seems like it's a grade 5 thing to do, which you should have done in grade 5, but it seems like a grade 5 thing to do, but you would help yourself immensely if you were better at knowing your times tables, okay? So like, 8 times 7 is 56. If you know that right away, math is going to be so much easier for you. If you're like 8 times 7, where's my calculator? 8 times 7 equals 56. I've never seen it before in my life. Like, if that is you, then please, you need to practice a bit, okay? So you need to know your times tables, all right? That's going to help you immensely, because you don't want this to take forever, okay? Plus this whole mental math thing, I mean, you kind of need to run through a few of those calculations pretty quick, okay? So g squared, I'm going to write that one first. G squared, negative 14 and negative 24g. Well, that's negative 38g, looks like. Negative 38g. And then my constant is plus 56. And when I write too fast, my computer just starts disappearing things. Thanks a lot, technology. Okay. Everyone understand that? Now, this came from this. The terms were all mixed up, but we could have written this, I guess, with the g terms first. Look at this. It could have been negative 2g plus 8 times negative 3g plus 7. So it could have been that, and if you expand that out, you get this too. Isn't that cool? So when factoring, we are going to have to consider the numbers in front of the g's now as well. Okay? All right. Okay. Let's do some practice. Now, first thing you look for when you have a polynomial like this, the first thing you have to look for is the GCF. And at the end of last day's assignment, there were some questions that had a greatest common factor that you should pull out first. For example, 2x squared plus 10x plus 14, let's say. You should be able to pull out a 2 from each of these, right? This is going to be x squared plus 5x plus 7, okay? So that's an example. Now, this one is not factorable for you, but that's an example of looking for a GCF. That's step number 1 always. In these questions, you're going to get this section. You're not going to be able to pull a GCF out for most of them, okay? Like 4 and 20 and 9, no common factors, okay? So what we have to do now is we have to, and I'm going to show you the intuition, just mental math method before I show you the decomposition method, because a lot of you, how can I say this? Some of you, this will be not too hard for you, okay? Some of you will get lost a little bit. That's fine. I will show you the decomposition method, which will make some of you feel better. But as you move through high school, you're definitely not going to do the decomposition method. You're definitely going to do intuition. You're going to do kind of like a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of mental math. This is what you're going to end up doing like in grade 12 in calculus. So this is, I do teach it right away so that some of you can get practiced on this early, okay? If this is too much for you in the next 3 minutes that I'm going to do, then don't worry, decomposition method is coming, and you may like that better. But right now, I'm going to say, okay, so trinomial, I can't pull any greatest common factor out. This should factor down to 2 binomials, just like the other version did. But what is added here is that the first terms, again, are not just h times h, right? Because this is 4h squared. So I'm going to have to think about factors of 4. And that's the added layer of this factoring intuition. So you have some options for factors here, and you have options for factors for this one, don't you? So for 4, you could have 4 and 1, you could have 2 and 2. For 9, you could have 9 and 1, you could have 3 and 3. So you have to do a little bit more mental math when you check. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just randomly pick 2 and 2 for my factors of 4h squared. Now I may have to change this later, but I'm going to try this first. I'm also going to try, I'm going to try 3 and 3 here. I'm going to try 3 and 3 for 9. Now this is a positive, so I have to consider 2 negatives or 2 positives. When you look at this value here, that's a positive 20, so probably a better idea to choose 2 positives because it's going to have to add up to a large positive. You see that? So there's a little bit of guessing, a little bit of reasonable, educated sort of intuition here. So this is my first guess, and what you have to do now is you have to do a quick FOIL in your head to check to see if this is going to work, okay? So what I do is I check, well, obviously I know 2h and 2h, that's 4h squared, I know that. It's the outside terms and the inside terms that you really need to check because those need to add up to this term always. And if it works, you're done. If it doesn't work, you have to try again with some of your factors. So this is going to be what? 6h and 6h. Does 6h from this outside multiplication and 6h from this inside multiplication, does that add up to 20h? No, this is not what I'm looking for. So guess what? I have incorrectly guessed which numbers go where. Okay? Now, as you do more of these, you will get better at this, you'll get quicker at this. You could try, and I'm going to try 4 and 1 here. I'm going to leave the 3's. 4 and 1. Okay? So you might want to use a pencil with an eraser or whatever. 4 and 1. Now, do a quick FOIL. What is this? 12h and 3h. Does that equal 20h?
No.
No. Okay, so that didn't work. But in reality, this is going to take you about 10 seconds to try both of those, really, once you get good at it. So now I'm going to try this one. What about 9 and 1? Okay, and you might be seeing this already that, 4 and 9. You see that? 4 and 9. Does 4 and 9 in any way get you to 20? No. Okay, so I've tried a few things and it doesn't work. Again, as you get better at this, you're going to be able to see things even before you write them. But if I'm going to try the 2 here and the 2 here again, and I'm going to try a 9 in one of these because I need a big number and a 1. Okay, I need a pretty big number to get to 20. You see that? So guess what? 18h plus 2h. What does that give me? 20h. So if you can kind of see this really quickly, 18 and 2, yeah, that gets me 20. Are my signs correct? Positive 18, positive 2 gives me positive 20. Yeah, positive 1 and positive 9 gives me 9. Yep. So do you see how the quick FOIL in your head is a little added layer of trying to identify the factors here? So this is my answer, and when you do the FOIL, it checks out. So some of you might be thinking, oh my goodness, that's a lot to keep track of in my mind. It is a little bit, but let's do some more examples, and we'll see if this gets any easier. Let's do 2 or 3 or 4 of these, okay? So this is I think this is number 15 in your assignment. So if you want to do this on the next page where you have your questions, I think you could. I will assign 15 for you because I'm going to do most of them with you. But let's do 15a. Okay, so I'm going to write it out here so we can make sure everyone sees it. Okay, 5a squared minus 7a minus 6. Okay, we got some negatives here. We got some negatives, but that's okay. You can do some mental math with negatives. So I'm going to do the 2 brackets. And what is actually nice about this one is that 5 is a prime number. So that means I only have one option for the 2 numbers that multiply to 5, right? 5 and 1. So guess what? 5a and 1a. I know that those are going to be right because those are the only ways I can get to 5. Okay? And we're going to focus on like integers here. We're not going to be doing fractions or anything like that. Focus on integers. So whole numbers, either positive or negative, right? Not 0. Okay, now 6 is the only other one. Is it going to be 6 and 1 or is it going to be 3 and 2? Right? And is the 3 going to go here or the 3 going to go here? So at this point, you might be saying, okay, 5 times something. Let's try the 2 gives us 10. And then the 2 times what? I need 2 times 3 to give me 6. So is there any combination that 10a and 3a, any combination of those that can get you 7a?
Yes.
Yes, you could do
Minus. Oh, minus.
Look at that. Or sorry, it's going to be negative 10 plus 3 because it's a negative 7. You see that? Okay, okay. So this looks like it could be where the numbers are in the right spot. So let's make sure I need to get negative 10a. So 5 times negative 2 will give me negative 10a. And positive 3 times a will give me plus 3a. You see that? Now, a quick FOIL. 5a squared negative 10a plus 3a minus 6. There you go. 5a squared minus 7a minus 6. And this is your answer. Okay, let's do another one. Again, practice makes better. So 3y squared minus 13y minus 10. No common factor, can't simplify this at all. So I'm going to have to go with my two brackets. And yes, 3 is prime. This is awesome. So I know right away what my first combinations are going to be. That's going to be 3y and y. 3y and 1y, right? Awesome. Now I only have to worry about these last two numbers over here. That's all I have to worry about. So it's going to be 10 and 1, or it's going to be 5 and 2. Can I give you a little hint? Okay, here's the little hint. Start with factors that are closer to each other, because more often than not, the factors that are closer to one another are the ones that most often are used. So this doesn't happen all the time, but if you're going to start by doing trial and error intuition, start with factors that are closer to each other. Start with factors that are close to one another. Okay, start with factors that are close. That's just an abbreviation. You can write that out fully. So what that means is, instead of 10 and 1, because 10 is going to get me a super huge number, which you might need that. But a lot of times, like the 2 and the 5 are the ones you should probably start with. So if I go, I have a 13 here, okay? So if I go 3 times 5 gets me to 15, and then a 2, so 15y and 2y, that can easily get me to 13. You see that? 5 and 15 and 2? Now, if I want negative 13, I would need a negative 15y and a plus 2y. So how can I arrange my signs in here to get a negative 15y? What do I put here?
Negative.
Very good. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And then a positive 2y, I put a positive there. You see that? So let's quick check. 3y squared, negative 15y plus 2y gives me negative 13y, yep. And then 2 times negative 5 gives me negative 10. Bada bing. Bada boom. Done. Okay, you guys look really worn out already. This is a lot of processing, right? Okay, on a scale of 0 to 5, how comfortable do you think you are with this right now? Like 5 is easy, I could teach this to someone else. 0 is, really bad. Where are we at? Just give me a quick show of hands, don't be embarrassed. I just want to see how much, more work or whatever, how much asking I need to do. Okay. Okay, I see, I'm not sure what this is. What is this? I want to claw you right now? Is that what this is? No? Okay, all right. Okay, good. Put your hands down, thanks. Thanks. I get it. This is going to take some time. No problem. Let's do C and D here. And then I'm going to show you decomposition method, which some of you may like, some of you will hate. I'm just going to be honest. Those of you that are kind of getting this right now will hate no, I shouldn't say that. Probably won't like decomposition, but some of you that are not getting this might like decomposition. So let's do 2 more, and then I'll do decomp. So C, let's do C. Okay, so I'm going to just split this into 2 groups here now. Again, this is a prime number, awesome, 5, S, and S. I know that's the way it has to be. 4. I'm going to start with the factors that are closer to one another. I'm going to go 2 and 2, and I'm going to see if there's any combination that will give me 19 here. So for example, because this is negative, so 1 has to be negative, 1 has to be positive, right? So this is 10S and 2S. Is there any combination of 10 and 2 that will get me 19? Nope, not when you're adding or subtracting. So guess what? I'm going to have to go with the other factors of 4 and 1 here. So I just try 4 and 1. Now I know, I can see here that 5 times 4 will get me to 20. I like that a lot. Because 1S is getting me to 19. You see that? You see? So 20 and 1 can get me to 19 pretty easily. I just have to make sure that I get the signs right. So if this is a positive 20 and a minus 1, do you see how that works? So guess what? Where's positive 20 come from? If I put the positive here, that's 5S times positive 4 gives me positive 20. And negative comes from here, negative 1 times S, you see? Boom, done. And this thinking process will start to go fairly quickly for you. It will, I promise. Okay, one more. Let's do one more here. Let's do D. So we have 14c squared minus 19c minus 3. So I'm going to do my two brackets here. Okay. 14 is not prime. Okay. Well, that's okay. I have two different options to work with. I'm going to start with the ones that are closest to one another. So I'm going to do this first. I'm going to try that. 3 is prime, though. Oh, that's nice. I only have 3 and 1. So I need to get to 19. Oh, I see it already. Do you guys see it? Do you guys see it? Where are you going to put the 3? I'm going to put the 3 here. Why? Because that's 21c I get. You see? And then if I put the 1 here, that's 2c I get. Does that get me to 19? 21 and 2 gets me to 19 pretty easily. So guess what? I need negative 19. So it's going to be a negative 21 plus 2c. And so where does negative 21 come from? If I put the negative there. That's where negative 21c comes from. And plus 2c is where if I put the negative there. Bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. Okay. Muttering amongst the crowd. Is this good muttering? I'm seeing some smiles. Am I seeing anyone that's slipping into a deep depression? Sort of. Okay, some of you are going crazy, I can see. Okay, we have heads on our hands like this. We have some like this. And we have some like this. Okay, so there's a wide range of reactions. Awesome. Okay, let's talk about decomposition. Okay, this is going to be a big lesson too, decomposition, yes? If you need to, go quickly. All right, factoring by decomposition. You want to hurry because you don't want to miss this. This is like really, really good. Now, factoring by decomposition is a method of avoiding a little bit of trial and error and guessing and intuition, a little bit of mental math. It's a way that's a little more calculated, but it does include a few more steps, and you have to factor small groups of binomials instead of just doing this kind of by intuition. So, again, some of you may like it. What does it say here? From the textbook, it says, factoring by decomposition is factoring after writing the middle term of a trinomial as a sum of two terms, then determining the common binomial factor of the two terms formed. That's a little wordy, but decomposition basically means that I need to decompose this middle term. I need to split it up somehow. All right? And there's going to be multiple ways you could split it up, but I will draw your attention back to, do you remember I think it was the very first, nope, where was it? I hope I didn't erase it. Did I erase it? Or did it disappear on me? Oh, no, it was in the homework from last day, wasn't it? Didn't I do this somewhere? Yeah, right here. Remember this one? Look at this. Okay, so this is part of our check. Anyways, look at this 6W. You see that 6W? Yeah. Notice that in the process of checking, I have that 6W decomposed into 9 minus 3W. That is what we're going to focus on for decomposition. How can I break the middle term up in such a way that I can factor two sets of binomials? So, okay, stay with me. All right, back to life. Okay, so how do you do this? This is decomposition, okay? So step 1, multiply A and C. And if you remember, ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is the first coefficient and the constant. So we multiply AC. So let's do that. 6 times 9. What's 6 times 9?
54.
Thank you. 54. Okay, so we multiply the outside numbers there, 6 and 9. That's the first step. Second step, okay? And this is huge. Find factors of A times C, that product, in this case 54, that add to B. Find factors of A times C that add up to B, and here the B is the negative 21. Okay, so 54. This is similar to what we did before, right? What are the factors of 54 that add to negative 21? Anybody? Let's see, 54, what's that? Anybody? 27 and 2. Is that up to 21? No. 6 and 9, no. Tried that. Another one. Anything else? Is there anything times 3 gives us 54?
18.
Ah, 18 and 3. Now, is this a positive 54? It is. So both of these factors have to be positive, or both of them have to be negative. Which combination gives me negative 21 when added? Negative 18 and negative 3 give us negative 21. Does everybody see that? Okay. So what does that mean, Mr. Maxwell? That means that we can decompose this middle term into two terms using those numbers. So it looks now like this. This polynomial looks like this: 6x squared minus 18x minus 3x plus 9, okay? We have successfully decomposed the middle term. A times C is 54. Factors of 54 that add up to B are here. Now we rewrite the polynomial, okay? Okay, so step 3 is rewrite the polynomial with middle term decomposed. And I've already run into my next question. I'm needing more space than I thought. Okay, so we're getting there. We're about halfway there. And again, this will start to go a little quicker too as you get used to it. But now what we want to do is we want to group first two terms and last two terms and factor. So this is where it might get a little bit weird. I'm going to group the first two terms and the last two terms, including their signs like this, and I'm going to do a mini greatest common factor here for each of them. So the mini greatest common factor, what's the greatest common factor between these two terms? 6x. So if you pulled out 3, it's not the greatest, but 6 would be the greatest, right? So if I pulled out a 6x, what do I have to write left over? X minus 3? Yeah? Okay. Do you see how this becomes this? Okay. Now we're going to do that again. We're going to do that again over here. What's the greatest common factor between these two?
-3.
Okay, so it could be positive 3 or negative 3. And I'll tell you how to decide which one in a few moments. But I'm going to pick out negative 3, and I'm going to write x minus 3. So do you see how this one becomes this? Yeah? Okay, so we've kind of taken the first two terms, we've split it up, we've factored, taken the second two terms, split up and factor. Now, you're doing decomposition correctly if, okay, here's the big if. This is going to work now if you have a common binomial factor in these two groupings now. If you have a common binomial factor, like we do here, x minus 3, now what we're going to do is we're going to pull that greatest common factor out of the entire expression, and it's going to look like that. I told you it was going to get weird. X minus 3 is my greatest common factor. There, I'm taking it out. What am I left with? 6x minus 3. 6x minus 3. And boom, we're done.
Whoa.
And most of you have your head in your hands. Okay. Some of you might like this, okay? And I know some of you will. Some of you will love it, some of you will hate it.
It makes sense. It's just terrible.
It makes sense, and now it looks like a lot of steps, but let's just check it. X times 6, this is 6x squared, this is negative 3x, this is negative 18x, this is plus 9. Does that give us our original question? It does. Okay, let me zoom out. I don't think I finished my steps. Group the first factor. Okay, watch this. Now remove GCF. And then factoring is complete. Factoring. Yeah, sorry, it says remove. Factoring complete. So yeah, you're done. So this is our answer, see? What I've sort of circled here. I've circled a lot of things. But okay, we're gonna do a couple more quick examples of this so you guys get some more practice. And you will be required to do both methods, like intuition and decomposition.
Did you record this?
Yeah, I'm recording it right now. Yeah. There's also other videos I've done. Okay, let's do this example here. Oh, I'm zoomed out. Okay.
Mr. Gallagher recorded.
Wait, what? Alternate schedule? No! I was looking at the towel. All right, whoa. Before you go anywhere. Listening. I wouldn't put your books away yet. Your assignment right here. You need to write your assignment down. You can do most of your assignment because I've now shown you everything. We'll do more decomposition tomorrow. This is your assignment. Shorten classes. Aren't you guys sad we have to leave math in the middle? This is so exciting. Okay, what message do you have for the world?
That makes sense.
All right, awesome.